Some horror movies are born from imagination, crafted with jump scares, monsters, and special effects to entertain. But others are born from the darkest corners of reality, where fear is not fiction, but something people live with every day. In Turkey, one film blurred that line so well it left audiences shaken to their core. That film was Siccin. At first glance, it seems like just another supernatural thriller. Curses, black magic, and possession. But beneath the surface lies something far more unsettling. Its terror is not random invention. It is drawn directly from centuries-old beliefs, whispered stories of curses, and testimonies from those who claim to have suffered at the hands of dark rituals. Every scream, every shadow, every twisted moment in Siccin echoes the real fears of people who know the dangers of the unseen world all too well. In Islamic tradition, there is an invisible realm, a world of spirits known as Jinn. For centuries, tales of Jinn and black magic, or Sihr, have haunted families across the Middle East and Turkey. Stories of cursed objects buried in graves, of sudden unexplained illnesses, of marriages destroyed overnight by occult rituals. These are not tales told around a campfire. They are experiences people believe with their whole hearts, events that have shaped communities and driven many to seek protection through prayers, imams, and exorcisms. It is this terrifying reality that director Alper Mestçi tapped into when he created Siccin. He didn't have to invent horror. He only had to hold up a mirror to the nightmares people already believe in. And that is why Siccin is not just a horror movie. It is a story rooted in faith, fear, and the ancient belief that some doors, once opened, can never be closed again. This wasn't just movie fiction. Across Turkey and much of the Middle East, belief in black magic, known as Sihr, is deeply rooted. Tales of people summoning Jinn to harm their enemies or binding a lover through rituals are whispered in villages and cities alike. Many real-life cases of death, madness, and ruined families have been blamed on these occult practices. Siccin drew directly from these stories, making its horror uncomfortably real for audiences who already feared such things in daily life. Chapter 1. The Curse of Black Magic. The word Siccin itself comes from Islamic belief, referring to a place in the underworld, a record of damned souls trapped for eternity. The film's story revolves around a woman who turns to black magic, using forbidden rituals to win back her lost lover. But what begins as desperation soon unleashes something far darker: demonic possession, death, and curses that cannot be undone. Chapter 2. True events behind the film. Director Alper Mestçi based Siccin on actual testimonies collected from people who claimed to have been victims of black magic. Some swore they saw shadowy figures at night after rituals were performed against them. Others reported strange illnesses no doctor could explain, voices whispering in empty rooms, and objects moving on their own. One chilling story told of a woman who found buried objects wrapped in cloth and bound with hair, classic signs of a Sihr curse. Soon after, her family members fell sick one by one. These accounts were not rare. In fact, many imams and spiritual healers in Turkey deal with such cases regularly, performing exorcisms and prayers to break curses. Siccin stitched these real horrors together, presenting them not as fantasy, but as shadows of events people still fear today. Chapter 3. Why Siccin feels too real. What makes Siccin so terrifying is its authenticity. Instead of Hollywood jump scares, it uses real Islamic rituals, verses, and black magic symbols. The possessions are not exaggerated. They mirror accounts from those who claim to have battled Jinn. For viewers who grew up hearing about curses, The film didn't feel like entertainment. It felt like watching their deepest fears come to life. And unlike Western horror films, which often separate fiction from belief, Siccin struck at the heart of cultural reality. In Turkey, Iraq, and other Muslim countries, the unseen world of Jinn is not a legend. It's a part of faith. This is why the movie carried a weight beyond cinema, because for many, it was a warning of what happens when humans tamper with forces they do not understand. Outro: horror beyond the screen. So, was Siccin just another horror film, or was it a reflection of truths too dangerous to ignore? On the surface, it is a movie about black magic, betrayal, and possession. But for those who know the traditions it draws from, every scene feels uncomfortably real. Because behind its story lies a darker foundation. Centuries of whispered accounts about curses, buried rituals, and jinn that haunt the lives of the living. In Turkey and beyond, families tell stories of marriages destroyed overnight, of sudden deaths with no explanation, of children plagued by visions and voices. These are not dismissed as superstition. They are treated as evidence of black magic, of Sihr. The rituals shown in Siccin, the use of personal belongings, the burying of objects in graveyards, the summoning of forces that should never be disturbed, are not Hollywood inventions. They are practices described in real testimonies, recorded in local histories, and feared even today. And that is what makes Siccin so powerful and so disturbing. It is not just entertainment. It is a mirror of a belief system where the veil between the seen and unseen is dangerously thin. Where one wrong step, one act of envy, one curse uttered in anger can change lives forever. For skeptics, it is only folklore. But for believers, the horror is already real, and Siccin simply gave it a face. So the question lingers: what if the movie was not just telling a story, but warning us of one? What if the terror you watched on screen was happening in someone's home, somewhere, right now? Because the most terrifying stories are not the ones invented to scare us. They are the ones rooted in truths too dark to face. The ones that remind us that evil doesn't need to be imagined, because it already walks among us.